Before we start the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell button so you can get all the new content from us. The movie begins in a future where advanced technology has made robots a part of everyday life, assisting humans with nearly everything. At first, there were no problems with this setup, but everything changed when a robot named Harlan formed an army of robots and began attacking humans. Harlan and his forces caused the deaths of over 1 million civilians for no reason. Harlan was originally made by a company called Shepard Robotics, and the scientist responsible for his development was Dr. Val Shepard, who lived with her young daughter, Atlas, who was only 10 years old at the time. Unfortunately, Harlan went rogue, becoming a terrorist and forming an army to wage war on humans. In response, an international coalition was formed to stop the rogue robots. They defeated most of Harlan's army and were closing in on him. Sensing his impending defeat, Harlan escaped Earth on a space shuttle, but left behind a video message warning that he would return one day to finish what he started and wipe out humanity. But 28 years pass, and we see a coalition force storming a house where they believe Harlan's top lieutenant, a robot named Cascada, is hiding. Cascada sets a trap with explosives, killing many soldiers before emerging and attacking the remaining forces. Despite his strength, a robot from the coalition uses an electric charge to incapacitate Cascada, allowing the soldiers to capture him. Meanwhile, we meet Atlas, Dr. Val Shepard's daughter, who has grown up to become a highly intelligent agent working with the coalition. Her mission is to track down Harlan and any remaining members of his army on Earth. Atlas learns that Cascada has been captured, and before she has time to process the news, a coalition officer informs her that General Booth, the leader of the coalition, wants to see her immediately. Atlas is escorted to the coalition headquarters to meet with General Booth, who is discussing the situation with Colonel Elias. Elias expresses his distrust of Atlas and doesn't want her involved in interrogating Cascada. However, Booth believes that Atlas is the key to getting information from Cascada, especially because she has a personal connection. Her mother created both Harlan and Cascada. Shortly after, Atlas arrives and is ordered to interrogate Cascada to find out where Harlan is hiding. Using her intelligence and analytical skills, Atlas is able to break through Cascada's defenses and learn that Harlan is hiding on a planet outside of their galaxy. After obtaining the information, Atlas kills Cascada and reports back to Booth. Booth orders Colonel Elias to lead a team to this distant planet to capture Harlan. Atlas asks Booth to join the mission, but he refuses. However, Elias, convinced of her value, requests her participation, and Booth reluctantly agrees. Elias takes Atlas to a part of the coalition base where he shows her a massive combat robot, a high-tech battlesuit that can be piloted by soldiers. Elias explains that the robot is controlled through a neural link with the human pilot. This revelation shocks Atlas, as she knows that neural link technology was banned after Harlan's creation. Harlan was the first robot to be connected to humans via a neural link, which is what made him so intelligent and so dangerous. Atlas warns Elias and Booth that using this technology again is a bad idea and could lead to another disaster like Harlan. However, they assure her that improvements have been made and that the technology is safe now. Despite her concerns, Atlas doesn't press the issue further and joins Elias and the rest of the team on a spaceship headed for Harlan's planet. As the ship travels through space, Atlas watches an old video of her mother, Dr. Val Shepard, discussing the development of the neural link with other scientists. In the video, Val explains how the neural link was supposed to revolutionize the connection between humans and robots, allowing for deeper communication and control. Dr. Val believed that neural link robots would be a groundbreaking advancement, but she didn't foresee the disaster it would cause. Atlas gets a call from Elias, informing her that the team is ready and waiting for her advice before they land on Harlan's planet. The Atlas agrees and joins them. Before sharing her advice, she asks them to disconnect their neural links to the suits they're using. She does this because anything AI-operated can be hacked, and if their suits get compromised, Harlan could easily learn their entire plan. Once everyone disconnects, Atlas starts giving them advice. She explains that the planet Harlan is hiding on has extreme weather conditions, which is why Harlan chose it in the first place. Humans wouldn't dare go there. Atlas also warns them to never remove their suits during the mission if they want to survive. She further explains that General Booth wants them to capture Harlan alive so that a company can study his mind to understand why he turned into a criminal and terrorist. However, she emphasizes that Harlan is extremely dangerous, and if they can't capture him alive, they must destroy him. Elias and the team start gearing up for the battle. Meanwhile, Atlas stays aboard the ship to keep in constant communication with them. Everything seems fine until suddenly an explosion rocks the spaceship, and bombs start raining down from every direction. Harlan and his forces have begun their attack. Elias orders everyone to get into their suits to survive, but Atlas refuses to use any of the robots because she doesn't want to be connected through the neural link. Amidst the chaos, Atlas nearly falls off the ship, but Elias manages to grab her and places her inside a robot. He urges her to connect to the robot so she can land safely, but Atlas refuses. One of Elias's soldiers takes control of Atlas's robot to help her land, but a missile hits the soldier's robot, destroying it. Atlas, however, crash lands hard onto the planet, hitting her head and passing out. When Atlas wakes up, she finds herself alone on the planet with no sign of the team. She speaks with the AI in her robot suit, named Smith. Atlas asks Smith to locate the escape pod from the destroyed spaceship so they can return to Earth. Smith agrees but tells her to connect to him through the neural link for better control, which she refuses. Smith eventually locates the escape pod, and Atlas tells him to head there as fast as possible. Smith is about to fly, but Atlas stops him, warning that Harlan's drones could detect them. Agreeing with her, Smith starts walking across the planet with Atlas, hoping they can reach the escape pod in time. Along the way, they stumble upon the remains of the soldiers' robots, and unfortunately, all the soldiers inside are dead. Atlas, deeply saddened, asks Smith to collect the ID tags from the fallen soldiers so their identities can be confirmed later. Smith complies and gathers the tags until they reach Elias's robot, but Elias is not inside. Atlas is overjoyed, believing that Elias is still alive. Atlas asks Smith to activate his motion sensors to detect any movement nearby, hoping Elias might be hiding. Smith detects movement, but it's not Elias, it's one of Harlan's soldiers, and among them is a robot resembling Cascada. Realizing that Harlan has created another version of Cascada, Atlas panics and orders Smith to leave the area immediately. As they try to escape, Cascada and his men spot them and open fire. Atlas quickly instructs Smith to use an ion bomb to neutralize the attackers. Smith detonates the bomb, causing a massive explosion that wipes out Harlan's forces. But Cascada survives. He charges at Atlas, but just then, the ground collapses from the explosion, causing both of them to fall underground. Cascada climbs out and contacts Harlan, informing him that Atlas is still alive inside her suit. Harlan orders him to find and capture her at any cost. After ending the call, we see Harlan with Elias, whom he has captured. Harlan is torturing him, but his true intentions remain unclear. Meanwhile, Atlas remains underground. Atlas finds herself deep underground, injured from the fall. Smith begins to treat her wounds and suggests she finally connect with him via the neural link to gain better control. Atlas agrees but fails to connect. Smith realizes that Atlas is afraid of him and doesn't trust him, which prevents the connection. He tells her that he needs to access her memories to understand the block. Atlas reluctantly agrees, and Smith enters her mind, where he sees memories of her childhood with Harlan. Atlas used to see Harlan as a brother, but he betrayed her and the world, leading her to distrust robots entirely. Smith reassures Atlas that he's not like Harlan and will always help her. Trusting him, Atlas finally connects via the neural link. They then manage to escape from underground and continue their journey toward the escape pod. However, as they move forward, Cascada shows up. Atlas orders Smith to attack Cascada with thermal bombs. Smith complies, launching a massive explosion that seemingly kills Cascada. With no more movement detected, Smith believes Cascada is dead, and they continue walking. As Atlas and Smith continue their journey, they come across Cascada's severed head and decide to take his sensor, which will help them locate Harlan. Using the sensor, they track the signal to Harlan's hidden base. Upon arriving, they are stunned to find that Harlan has seized the spaceship they had traveled in from Earth. Atlas quickly pieces together Harlan's plan to use the ship's highly destructive carbon bombs to wipe out Earth. Just as Atlas is about to take action, Harlan's men, including a new version of Cascada, appear and ambush her. Despite her attempts to resist, they overpower her, forcibly pull her out of Smith, and drag her to a cell, where she's tightly restrained. Harlan enters and reveals his plan. He had left a version of Cascada on Earth to lead Atlas to him, knowing she'd bring the Coalition with her. His goal was to get their ship, which is the only one capable of bypassing Earth's defense system, allowing him to return to Earth and destroy it with the bombs. Harlan then takes Atlas to where Elias is being held and ties her up next to him. He tortures her until she reveals the final part of the code needed to override Earth's defense system. Delighted, Harlan prepares to launch his attack. As Harlan and his men prepare to leave, he tells Atlas that she and Elias will be left behind to die, as their oxygen will soon run out. After Harlan leaves, Elias asks Atlas about her robot Smith. She explains that she can still call him, but only if she fully connects through the neural link. Realizing their only hope is Smith, Atlas tries to fully connect with him. Smith responds, informing her that their neural link is only at 94% capacity, and they need full trust to complete the connection. Atlas confesses that she struggles to trust any robot because of what happened with Harlan. She recalls how, as a child, she was jealous of the attention her mother gave Harlan. Wanting to be just as smart as him, she asked Harlan for help. He told her that if she used the neural link device her mother made, she could become as intelligent as he was. But instead of helping her, Harlan modified the program to gain control over anyone linked to him. He then used that control to force Atlas's mother to try to kill herself. Atlas escaped, but Harlan began his war against humanity. With these memories resurfacing, Atlas realizes that her fear and guilt have been holding her back. She finally lets go and fully connects with Smith. Smith frees Atlas and Elias, and she quickly climbs into his robot suit again to stop Harlan. On her way, she encounters Cascada and Harlan's soldiers. Atlas fights them off with Smith's help, and Elias sets off explosives. Elias, knowing there's no other way to stop Harlan's forces, makes a bold decision. He plants explosives throughout the area. He sacrifices himself, choosing to stay behind in the explosion to ensure the mission's success. Atlas reaches the spaceship and begins destroying it to prevent Harlan from using it to attack Earth. Harlan shows up, launching bombs at her to slow her down, but she manages to blow up the ship. As the wreckage collapses, Atlas and Smith try to escape, but Harlan returns, furious. He vows to defeat her and threatens to call for another ship from Earth. Harlan charges at Atlas with a sword, delivering a powerful blow that severely damages Smith's systems. In the chaos, the force of the attack knocks Atlas unconscious, leaving her vulnerable as Smith struggles to maintain control. Harlan prepares to finish Smith, but Smith ejects Atlas to save her life. As Harlan attacks, Atlas sneaks up behind him and stabs him in the eye. Severely injured, Harlan tries to fight back, but Atlas removes his processing unit, rendering him powerless. Harlan's body is destroyed, and he finally dies. Sadly, Smith is also dying from the damage. Atlas says goodbye as he shuts down for good. Afterward, a rescue team from the Coalition arrives and takes Atlas back to Earth, where she has successfully completed her mission. Sometime later, we see Atlas at home on Earth. General Booth visits her to thank her for saving humanity. He also informs her that the modified robot she requested is ready. Atlas heads to the Coalition base, where she is greeted with admiration by the soldiers. She enters the new robot suit, now integrated with Smith's AI, becoming her closest companion once again. With peace restored and Atlas finally finding trust in herself and her new companion, the movie wraps up on a hopeful note, marking the end of her long journey.